The Conjuring Last Rites is what seems to be the official end for the Conjuring franchise. Michael Chaves is the director for this one, and it tells the story of Ed and Lorraine Warren, who had taken some time off from doing the paranormal investigations, but when a new case arises and finding personal ties to it, it becomes something that is inevitable to see and could meet their demise. Conjuring franchise is a very interesting franchise because I've seen the first movie, I didn't see the second one, I saw the third one, and I've seen one or two of the spin-offs that they've had, and they do have a ton out there. I've seen the first one, and I did enjoy it quite a bit. The second one, I didn't get a chance to see. The third one, not the biggest fan of. I think it's a big step off. And then the other sort of spin-offs pretty much range in the bad category outside of one, from what I understand. So it is kind of a fluctuating thing with this franchise of having some really good stuff and then just kind of down in the barrel type of, horror movies. But The Conjuring Last Rites, was it any good? Well, it certainly was an improvement over the last movie, and to be honest, I did find some stuff to enjoy here. I'm not the biggest paranormal sort of, moviegoer or even like a believer in that sort of sense. So watching these movies, it is strange that how much I do like the first one, at least. I think it's a well-made movie. I think James Wan did great work there, but you got to do a lot for me to really get invested in that sort of stuff. And I think this movie definitely points that towards the right direction. While Michael Chaves is definitely an add-on after James Wan, he was almost in charge of the Conjuring universe when he departed. And that's a really tall order to ask somebody because, as I said, the first two movies, they all make a lot of money. And the first two movies were heralded really, really special by audiences. But as time went on and these Annabelle movies and the Nun movies and all these other things just kind of bring it down and down and down. And like nowadays you probably might see this movie and go like, wow, they're making another one. And to be honest with you, I'm really disappointed in the marketing that they had for this. I found out that they were making this movie and it was coming out this weekend like 2 weeks ago. Like this is like a Warner Brothers bigger IP that they've had the last, few odd years. And for it to just to be kind of like, yeah, it's coming out in September, go and see it if you want, is kind of shocking to me, especially considering how long that they've had these people playing these characters. And with that, the characters are really the biggest standout in this entire movie and really the franchise. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga returning as their respective roles as Ed and Lorraine Warren, they just have immense chemistry. They were really good in the first movie, and as time goes on, it just somehow kept improving. I don't know what it is. Throughout the years, I would have figured that these two would have, phoned in a performance maybe here and there for whatever reason, but they just are professionals and they're really good in these roles. It's pretty synonymous with these two now. I'm very happy with the story that they had with this, because this investigation that they are on ties in a little bit more personally than most of their other ones do. They get to explore the relationships a lot more between themselves and also with their daughter as well. And the subplot they have there with their daughter and the boyfriend that tags along in this story is also really fun and interesting. He has a really compelling backstory that at first I thought it was going to go one way, but then it kind of turns on his head and does a different thing, and I really enjoyed it. It's Ben Hardy who ends up playing him, and he is more in my head known for playing Angel in the X-Men Apocalypse movies, so not a good reference point for me. But nevertheless, he's really good. He has stuff to do in this, and he is a definite good spot in this. And the comedy between him and Patrick Wilson as well, they have some fun little playful back and forth sort of, father, son-in-law type vibes going on there. And again, like the characters are really what pulls the story forward for The Conjuring. But the scares here is actually okay. I don't love all of them, and I do enjoy most of them, I would say. There are definitely a few that are really, really good, but then there are some that the, typical sort of stuff that you would see from any other Conjuring or paranormal movie, which is kind of a bit of a shame. But I was talking with friends of mine at the end of the movie, and I was just kind of like, really don't know what else more people could do in films when it comes to these paranormal type movies, because we've seen pretty much everything at this point. We've had Paranormal Activity for years, and then you've had The Conjuring for however many years it's been going on now. Insidious is another franchise that's a little bit more on the paranormal side from what I understand. And I just think that we've kind of tapped everything for the paranormal stuff. Like, it doesn't have a lot of legs anymore, I feel like. And I think this is a fine way to end this franchise if that's the direction that they are going with. The family that is being affected by this, everyone's really good in that one too. My only gripes with it can get a little sluggish at points and a little bit repetitive maybe. It is a longer film than I may want it to be, but I also was enjoying the Ed and Lorraine story quite a bit actually. Like I could just watch those two on screen the entire time and I would have been just fine with this, rendition of a story. But I could see how people can be a little bit more like, all right, come on, let's get it going. Let's get these guys in the house and investigating, this case. And yeah, there's some truth to that for sure. But I found it to be well executed for the most part. There's obviously dumb things in this movie that is, not uncommon with any other paranormal movie, which is why I tend to not like these films a lot, or at least the paranormal films a lot, because like some of the stuff can be creepy and kind of like, ooh, that's some good tension building, and it's, based in reality for the most part. But then there are other things in this, like The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, the one previous to this, had some really, really just like oddball things happening in there. The best way I could describe it in a weird way is the guy who's being charged for murder in that movie because the devil made him do it is his reason for it. He's in the hospital, and at one point he like floats in the air and does like a Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan yell and throws his arms out, and like windows like crash open. And it's stuff like that with paranormal movies that really take me out of it. In the first Conjuring movie, there wasn't a ton of stuff like that. I think the most obscure and like out there kind of moment for that movie was there was a possession scene and like someone floats in a chair and floats upside down. Like that, yes, it's weird and like kind of out there, but like it happened for like a quick couple seconds and it wasn't anything else, and everything else was kind of really grounded and really creepy and really fun to watch. This one kind of takes it back to that sort of roots. Not to say that there isn't some of the bigger supernatural stuff happening in this that might throw you off and might not enjoy it too much. There were things that definitely did bother me at points, but I found more positives with it than I did negatives. All in all, I really enjoyed The Conjuring Last Rites. I think it's a fun movie. It's definitely a weird franchise. It definitely has some great moments in there for sure, but at the end of the day, I love the performances. I love Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga as these characters. I love just the relationships that were shown in this one. I really don't have a ton of complaints about the movie. It's definitely a good, fun, spooky season watch. If you're really into that mood right now, obviously it's the beginning of September at this point. Not sure why they didn't wait to put it in October. I find that a little weird. But in the end of the day, I think it's a fun movie. I think it's a good movie. And if you're a fan of The Conjuring, it has a pretty satisfying ending, I would say. I'm going to give The Conjuring Last Rites 3 stars. Thank you guys so much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. You can check out the links down below where we have all the socials down there for my TikTok, my Letterboxd, and my Twitter. A slight update on the scheduling, I guess, for some of these reviews. I missed a pretty decent amount of summer blockbusters this year, getting reviews out as quickly as possible. I was actually working on a Caught Stealing review before this one, and then it kind of just got away from me, and now we're on Conjuring. So I'm hoping in the next couple weeks I can get a summer roundup video where we're going to talk about a bunch of the movies that I ended up missing that I had seen, and we're gonna sit here and probably not do as big of a deep dive as I wish I could for each movie, but there are a couple of them that I want to get out there and I want to get my opinions on before the year's end. And then those movies that I haven't seen that don't make the cut, I would say go to the Letterboxd or go to my TikTok and just check out those pages there, and you'll end up seeing either a short-term kind of review if it's on TikTok, or like a longer written review for any of these movies that I don't end up seeing, or at least making a review for it rather quickly. Anyways, that's it. I'm done talking. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep those cinemas alive, and I will talk to you all next time.